I'd like to thank him and his staff for appearing here today, and your work does not go unappreciated. Thank you very much. I have worked with the minister on a few files, and we have been getting things done. However, I'm a little bit disappointed on behalf of some of my constituents who live in the Esty Bridge area. It seems that the government of today and the government of yesterday and the government before that, the Allward government, seems okay with allowing an injustice to happen and continue. There has been no money mentioned about in regards to the equity that these folks have lost in their homes. They can't sell their homes. They lose their shirt if they wanted to move out of there, and it's basically not an option. This operation has turned their lives upside down. The government of today is responsible for the mistakes of the governments of yesterday, and this government's got to step up. I've tried to get a meeting with the Premier. I sent emails a few months back. I haven't got a meeting yet. I have met with the Minister, and I'm sure that, and I'm convinced that he understands what the people feel, and he understands what they're going through. I think there may be bigger things at play that are holding them back from doing what's right. The people have to put up with noise of trucks going up a hill on a rocky, bumpy road at 5 o'clock in the morning. Empty trucks, clanging and banging, waking up the neighborhood. It puts stress on these folks. The truck traffic on Route 628 or 620, the Royal Road, is very heavy. They carry dust down the hill. They carry dust out onto the road. And it's very hard for them to stay on top and keep it cleaned up. There are endangered things in this area. There are butternut trees that are endangered. There are wood turtles who are endangered. And the stream now, the Nashwauk stream now, we have proof. These folks have done a lot of work on their own. And the stream now, they have proven now that the stream is being contaminated because the trucks are crossing a corrugated bridge, dropping all the stuff off their wheels, the dust and oil and whatever leaks out of them trucks down into the Nashwauk stream, which has salmon and trout and various other things. These people need answers. These people need justice. The dust that they have to deal with. I was in one woman's home, and she told me she could dust 3-4 times a day, and she would always get this dust. That dust has to be getting into their lungs. There's been no study done as to what kind of health hazards might be involved with this. It may eventually cause death. So if I sound frustrated, I hope I am sounding that way, because that's how the people I represent feel. This is not a personal thing from me to the minister. This is me representing my constituents. They need justice. So having said that, my question is to the minister, what is the government prepared to do to help these people out?
Mr. Chair, to the member opposite, I appreciate probably no more than anyone that you are asking questions on behalf of your constituents, and I take it at full face value. It's nothing personal between you and I, but you have a job to do. And up until this point, since the day I've been sworn in, you've been doing your job quite well at it. I will say you've asked the questions. You don't let the issue go away, and nor should you as a good opposition member. Of course, we now have a quarry in a kind of a residential area where people do live around it. There was no environmental impact assessment done at that time because there were no triggers for one at that time. Going forward, the policy does say that another EIA doesn't get triggered, but we continue to place more restrictions on the approval to operate. We do ongoing air quality testing, but just because that is done, the air quality might be fine, but I agree there's still dust. There's always dust, and the Premier had visited these people in the past, I believe, and witnessed that dust. As far as your meeting with the Premier, I'm sure it's on its way. I do know that his staff have been corresponding with you regularly different information and whatnot. We have also did testing in the stream, both upstream and down. So if there are tests that people have that you know about that can help us with our determinations, to help us understand better, we'd be very happy to have a look at those. So please forward those to my attention as soon as you can. We're very interested in seeing those. I also understand about the noise. As a person myself that used to travel in and out of those pit roads for many years at 4, 5, 6 a.m., the echo travels a long ways, and while it may not sound loud inside those trucks, it is loud on the other side of the valley when the sound waves are bouncing across there. So we'll continue to monitor the situation. Will we ever be able to eliminate the situation? I don't see it happening, to be honest, and I don't want to keep the expectations high, but we can continue to ratchet up and turn in the screw on the approval to operate, much like I've done with the Ames situation in St. John, much like I've done with other areas that of files that we've stumbled upon or that have presented themselves that the staff were working on. But we just needed to keep pushing, and we'll continue to do that for not only the member opposite, but his constituents as well. I appreciate him bringing those concerns here. I appreciate that he brings those concerns almost on a regular basis when I see him, Mr. Chair. He's advocating for these people, and that's his job, and he'll continue to advocate for them. I know he will. But I want to reiterate again, if you have information that we can use, please bring it forward. Some of the names of the people that you and I have met with there, I won't say their names over the air, but a couple of those folks have done some great work. And if you have any information on tests or anything like that, I want to see it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, through you to the Minister, I'd like to say this about that. The Minister had no problem shutting the company down in St. John down. He probably has the same power to shut this company down. The constituents that I represent have no faith in the government enforcing the terms of operation. They always fail in that. They have no assurance that will happen. When we get finished the study that Buddy's doing, we got a federal guy doing some stuff for us in regards to pollution. When we have that information, we'd be happy to pass it over to the Minister, but we would do that with a meeting with the Premier. No other way. And if we don't get some action, and if I don't get some kind of an indication, like very soon, then I may very well vote against this budget for this department. If the Minister wanted to reply to that, I can wait for a reply, or I can go on to other things.
I understand the member's his intensity. I really do. But if I want to talk about the St. John company that we shut down, we did shut them down because they weren't abiding by the approval to operate that we put in place. Now they are, because we shut them down so they would pay attention to what we have in order. We have the same sort of an order in place for Myra. They're to abide by those things. If they don't abide by those things, we will shut them down. That sends a message pretty quick. When you send the company down and they're not making any money, we'll take action with that because we take it serious. And we'll continue to do that. So if you have more budget questions, I'd be happy to answer them, member opposite through the chair to him. And if Buddy gets his reports done anytime, send them over to us and we'll make sure the Premier gets to see them.